Welcome back to One-on-One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. Thomas Aiello, Kennan Troy, Taylor Massetta is back with us for our next segment, the biggest disappointments/surprises in Major League Baseball this year. Now, we're gonna start with Kennan for his biggest disappointment. So, Taylor, we're gonna just sit back and let the madness.
I'm ready
unfold.
for this.
Kennan is. What are you doing?
The laptop is black.
Oh
This
my.
is not me looking at baseball
Okay.
reference. This is not.
Back it up, baby.
Oh boy.
This isn't me writing some predisposed, feeling.
Turn the MacBook this way. There you go.
Oh, sorry if I was missing it.
What is happening?
Right by my head. It wasn't anything premeditated. This is coming straight from the heart.
Oh boy.
I've been wanting to do this since I started the radio, which is talk about the Chicago White Sox on a New York sports call-in show. Obviously, didn't shake out in the postseason last year. Both the Sox and the Yankees got bounced, so they didn't see each other. Maybe this year they will. Biggest appointment of the 2022 season, whether you're a fan of them like myself or if you're just a casual baseball follower, has been the Chicago White Sox. You go into last postseason, and you get shelled by the Houston Astros, who beat you in every facet, and that was okay. Go into the offseason, you make a boneheaded decision to extend Leury Garcia for a 3-year deal because he's been with the team for God knows how long, and he has one good at-bat in his whole MLB career, and they throw him a bag. That's frustration number one. But no, the biggest thing was, you never had a right fielder, and you go out and sign A.J. Pollock, who takes care of left field. Don't settle for the right field. The reason the White Sox have been such a disappointment is this. Whether it's the on-field display or if it's in the front office, everything has been a train wreck since this alleged rebuild had come to a conclusion and they said, we are going to contend. You bring in Tony La Russa, who still boggles my mind as why he was the decision. A guy that was out of baseball, was in baseball with the Arizona Diamondbacks organization, allegedly the reason that whole rebuild, whole transformation of the D-backs in the mid to late 2010s, I guess we're calling it, like
Yes.
the 2015 when the D-backs were kind of okay. Why did that collapse? Because Tony had his hand on the wheel, much like he does with this White Sox team that, once again, is threatening to blow an entirely star-studded roster, a window that should last for 15 years when you look at how young this talent is on this team and the ability to make moves if this front office would wake up. But nonetheless, Tony La Russa is hired, and the White Sox kind of go about business with him as the skipper last year. And then something happened this offseason where maybe it was their first year under Tony. The players let it be known to the front office, like, hey, this isn't working. The energy doesn't match up. Something's off. Nonetheless, Tony's invited back for another year. He's on a year-to-year basis. And any other team, we saw it with the Blue Jays, when the results aren't going the way the fan base and the franchise expect them to go, they act. Toronto fired their manager, and they've got a better record than the White Sox, but Tony will never be fired because Jerry Reinsdorf feels bad for firing him back in the 80s, and they're best friends, and he's a Hall of Famer and all these accolades, and Ozzie Guillen says it perfectly, so, I can't do that justice in terms of analyzing, what makes Tony a flawed manager. I just know there's some disconnect because when you see the effort on the field put forward by the White Sox players, it is pathetic. You got guys like Lance Lynn, who was an AL Cy Young candidate, who refuses to back up Sebi Zavala on a throw home. Stuff you learn in 12U. Like, he's just standing at the pitcher's mound, and then the ball gets behind Zavala, and another run almost scores. It's very simple mistakes that aren't occurring because of, bad discipline or anything like that. It's because this team is disinterested in winning. And it's super frustrating to see it because as soon as I think I'm done with this team, they are now on a 4-game win streak, sitting 3 games out of first place, playing 2 more against the Twins. They win both. They're 1 game back at the All-Star break. So the White Sox have been far and away the biggest disappointment for me this first half of the season. But as we saw last year with the Braves, it doesn't matter what your first half of the season is. I'm confident that, Dylan Cease should have been an all-star. Johnny Cueto shoved. Michael Kopech has a knee soreness injury. He pitched last night, only gave up 2 earned runs. He'll be okay. Giolito starting to find himself. Lance Lynn, who knows what we get, but, we only have to see him once every 5 days. So as long as, we roll him out against bums, I think he'll be okay. Maybe he can find his form. But the fact of the matter is, for the White Sox, the front office needs to wake up at the trade deadline because this team is loaded with talent. So either fire Tony or have a players-only meeting or do something to spark motivation and urgency in this clubhouse. Because, Scott Podsednik said it. Guys have said this for countless years about the culture of baseball. Now, and it applies especially to this White Sox team, is guys like Paul Konerko, Jim Thome, Aaron Rowan, guys that won in 2005. Obviously, Thome didn't. They said we're going to win in spite of everything. Ozzie Guillen admitted, he said if the guys were upset with me, they'd go play in spite of me. There's no feelings of that in this White Sox team. They need to figure it out because, as you can tell by this long and impassioned speech, I am beyond frustrated wasting hours of my life watching these games and seeing the same mistakes I see every other game. It's getting ridiculous. They need to wake up. That being said, my biggest surprise of the year.
Oh, before we get to that, are you done with the?
Yeah.
Okay. First, yeah. Round of applause. First of all, round of applause. Good job, Keenan. The conclusion that I think, Taylor, we can agree.
Yeah.
Keenan needs a hug.
Yeah.
I
it's
think
going to be okay.
The White Sox,
okay.
the White Sox front office needs a coffee.
Yeah.
And stop watching them for the next week. Well, they're going on break. But
Tune
Taylor,
into the Cubs.
Yeah. They see. Look at this.
Hey.